as an update, I managed to get most of these pieces in primer. That's pretty much what I've been doing is hammering out any dents, putting in any filler, and spraying primer on these parts so that they can probably set all winter and age a bit before I try to put any paint on them or color. I want the primer to set for a while before I do any wet sanding and get them ready for paint. What it consists of here, like on this back fender I'm still working on, is putting in filler, block sanding it off, using a little bit of surface putty here to fix any small dents and things I have in it, and basically just a lot of bead blast work is what I'm doing here. But I did notice that on the backs of these fenders down here seems to get rust quite a bit. I think it's caused by a brace on the back side. It might be a good idea to drill a hole in that and spray some oil in there or something to keep that from rusting back in there. But they have a reinforcement in the bottom part of the fender on this thing that seems to give problems. But basically I'm just trying to get them smooth and primed up, and then I think I'm going to store them for the winter because it's not going to be practical to paint these things with the weather being so cold. It's pretty hard to get an airflow through the garage and when it's cold weather like that. Trying to fix where that little, I guess they call it a centralizing washer or something, goes on these headlight ears on this 1955. I suppose you can see here where it's kind of bunged up here. I assume this was an accident that happened while they were reassembling it once they painted it one time, I suppose. Supposed to be round like that, but this one doesn't look too bad. It's probably the way it came when it was new, and then this one's got some bad spots in it. So I pushed in a piece of aluminum tubing. I looked around for a socket or something like that, but I didn't really have anything that was just right. If I'd have had an anvil or something, I probably could have done it. Anyways, now I'm going to try to hit this where it's bunged out here and see if I can't get that back in a little bit closer there. Now you can see I must have got it rounder because this thing's coming out of it. Looks a lot better than it did anyway. I'll just keep hitting it and bend this part back, and then I think I'll have it right. Won't bore you with that. This part's actually for the 67 bike. It's not for the 1955, but it's a nice taillight. Probably some kind of like universal assembly. But I need to blast up the outside of it because it's set outside for a long time. This bike is, I think this came off the one that was in the junkyard probably. And I think before I blast, I think all this I can leave in there. This reflector's in pretty good shape, so I think I'll leave that alone. But I need to get this plastic out of there so I can blast this housing. I want to blast it and get that rust off there and paint this. I'll probably use that hammered finish paint because that covers up a multitude of sins and it looks pretty good. I'm going to have to grind off the head of this rivet because that piece right there is what's holding in this piece of plastic here. And I think if I take that off, or even just one of them off, I might be able to get that plastic out of there, and then I'll have to replace the rivet to put it back on again. The rest of this I'll just mask up and fill this full of rags and stuff so I can blast it, and I think then it'll look pretty good when I get it done. That's the plan on that anyway. Well, I got this thing out. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. Even the rubber gasket around it's in pretty good shape. So I think I can clean this up and polish it up with a little plastic polish, and that'll look fine. This thing here, I'll have to drive out the rest of that rivet. These are the things that held it in there. And I guess this hole right here is what held the lens on the back. Just some like sheet metal screws go into that. So I guess I'm ready to blast this now, but I'll put a rag or something in here and try to fix this up so I don't accidentally blast my reflector in there, because it actually looks pretty clean for, you know, being outside for so long. I think it looks all right. But I'm gonna take and maybe run this on the belt sander to get most of this rust off here. I think that'd be better than trying to blast it. Says it's a CEV, I think it says. Headlight or tail light. Anyways, I got it apart. So that's what you got to do with these things, just a bunch of little parts that you work on and fix the problems on each little piece one at a time, and don't look at the whole project. It's taken me a long time. I'd say I'm probably working on this stuff for maybe an hour or hour and a half in a day when I work on it. And I don't work on it every day, so it is pretty slow, but it's just a fill-in thing that I do for enjoyment. I'm not doing this for any other reason other than that. Just blasted everything, painted it with that hammered finish paint, which in my opinion kind of covers a multitude of sins. That if you got little dents and things like that in something, that tends to disappear when you put that hammered finish on there. Plus it's a pretty tough paint, so I use that quite a bit. This is a piece of rubber that they sell for barbecue grills. You wouldn't think of looking for rubber where the barbecue grills and stuff are, but they use this for, I suppose, putting hot utensils on or something. I'm not just sure what the purpose is for barbecuing, but I find it to be pretty good for making some rubber gaskets and things. Now, this one that was on there, it got tore. It's supposed to go on this light here, and the gasket would be up against this face right here. You can see the marks where it was. But it's torn, and so I think I'll make a new one out of this stuff. But I did think I'd mention that this barbecue grill sheet rubber is fairly inexpensive. I've used it for on top of workbenches. Actually, I probably should have a piece on here, but it's black. I put some brown paper here. I thought things maybe would show up better on that, because you put something black on top of something black, it doesn't show up so well. But I'm going to cut a new gasket out of that stuff, and you just look for it where they got barbecue grills and stuff. The lens and everything, I'm pretty sure that this light, because it was so rusty, was on the Allstate motorcycle that I got out of the junkyard. If you see one of my earlier videos about where I bought this motorcycle out of the junkyard that was laying up on top of a Buick, but it was worth the $8 I paid for it. Actually, I think I give the guy 10, but it was more than what he wanted. but I bought that thing, and it was worth it just to get this taillight, because this actually doesn't go to the 1955. This goes to the 67, and this taillight's made in Italy. It's a CEV, it says on there, and made in Italy. The one on the 1955 is a Hella, and it's I think a German made or Austrian made light. I don't know, but I don't think they made a step forward going with Italian electrics, but because I don't think they're known for being good. Anyways, I got it cleaned up, and so now I got to put it back together, put my pop rivets in there, and see if I can't get this figured out. But I thought I'd mention about that sheet rubber there. I mean, I could make that gasket out of that stuff if I wanted to, but you can cut it with scissors. It's kind of thick stuff, but I think it'll hold up and last pretty well.